Recording. Okay guys, so we are live now. Recording, right? I can say live or recording. So yesterday we work on our basic user controller routes and all that, right? We create API for the user. Okay, so let's start with the blog. So the first what we do, right? You know all the fields for the blog. So when you're gonna have a blog, right? Blog site, normally here we're gonna add just two or three fields, right? Three fields, basically maybe title, description. What else we can add? The image, we can add one image, right? And then later will be the relation between the user and the blog, right? So we will see all that today. Okay, so let's start the model for the blog. So import, we can import mongoose, right? Mongoose from mongoose. Okay, so once we import, I hope, okay, I'm in the right folder. Yeah, so we can create this schema now, right? So we can call it const blog, let's call it blog schema. Okay, the schema, right, equal to new schema. So we have to get schema from mongoose, right? So normally, you know how it works. Even you can write like this, right? Const, if you want to break down, okay, schema, right, equal to mongoose dot schema. See, so basically you're getting here, right? That is schema, and now you can write new schema, right? So that is one way. Or you want to put all together in same place, then you don't have to write this, you can just simply do here mongoose dot schema, right? The same thing, this, right, is equal to, I mean, this was equal to this, right? And I mean, you get the idea. Okay, so all right, so let's delete this. We can keep it together in one place. So you have to pass the object here, right? And you write all the schema, or basically the blueprint for our collection is a table. Okay, table, right, where you store all the data. So let's create the object, and in the MongoDB, right, we store data in form of object, right? So that's why you have the schema also. Basically you are writing schema, right, in the form of object, and it becomes like a relation, right? How it will relate, it just like a relation, it makes a relation with the database to get all the information, right? If you have to add something, so it will mapping, like it map things and then do the job, right? Kind of mapping things. Okay, so okay, so the first item will be title, right? Let's add the title. So title of my blog. Okay, what I can give now? So when you define the schema, you have to be type, you have to define the type of your data, right? Type will be string, and string, string. What else? You're gonna have required, right? So we can add a required equal to true. Okay, so that is one. The next will be, we can add description field, right? And here will be same thing, type string, and we can have required true. Okay, true. So description. Now let's add image also, right? Image. So at least we can display the image. It maybe looks better, So type, we're gonna have string. We're just gonna maybe let's see how we're gonna add this image, right? Either you send the link from somewhere, or maybe store the image in other other cloud, somewhere storage, right? Wherever. So I have to check how we're gonna store image. Okay, unless we use or find some image from online, right? The link URL and then just put there to display the image. So we will check, okay, how we're gonna do that. I have to put comma here, string, and then required, right, will be true, okay. So what else we can do now, right? See, let's imagine, right, this is your blog, okay. The blog will be something, every time when you create a blog, right, when you're gonna make a blog, it will create an object like this. So it's gonna have a title, right, title. So let's say title, title, right. It will create an object title, and you're gonna have title maybe jungle, jungle safari, right, something like that, okay. And then description, you add some long description here. I just add you're gonna put there, okay, some description. What is this? Why I get error? I don't know why it's giving error, right? So there is a DESCRIPTI and this, okay, title, that's okay. So aspects any, right, okay, fine, leave it. And then you're gonna have image, okay, image, right, image like this, image, okay. So there will be image link, just imagine image link, right, link for image, okay. And the last one, right, so someone created, so one of the user, right, created this blog. So what we need to do, right, we have to add, somehow we have to add the ID of the user, okay, so that we know, right, who is the creator of this blog, okay. So what we can do, so we can implement the relation also now, right. So let's add that one. So we're going to add the field called user like this, right, user colon, right, and then we're going to add, I mean, basically let's say user will be some user, right, with ID maybe 1 2 something like that, so let's say this is the user with ID, the user with ID this, right, created this blog. So if we have to find this blog with this ID, so just imagine, right, this ID, the person with this ID created the blog, maybe 10 blog. So we will be able to find all his blog with this ID, okay. So we're gonna have the route, right, to and there we're just gonna pass this ID and get all the blog, okay. So let's see how we're gonna do all that, right. So that's why here what I'm thinking to add the user field, user, okay, let's add user, right. And to create a relation, okay, we have to basically the type, we have to add type, and in the type, right, there is something, I mean, we have to, from the mongoose, okay, we have to call the mongoose, right, mongoose dot so schema collection, what is type here, right, mongoose dot types and dot object ID, right, we have to get this object ID, and which object now, right, you have to I think so, object ID, so that will be the type, okay. But we have to refer now which schema, from which schema you want to relay, right, means which schema you want to connect, so you have to refer that. So there will be property called refer, right, refer, okay, ref, yeah. And in that ref, right, you have to call that schema, okay. So that will be user, right, we have a user, user, right, like that, okay. And then required, right, yes, required will be true. So we need to have that ID if someone is creating the blog, okay. so that will be true. Okay, so I see some error. The error will be from here, right? So every time, every time when you create a blog, right, you're gonna get something like this way the data will be sent to your database. Okay, the object with the title, description, image, and the ID of the user. Just remember this object, right? That is what this schema will create. Okay, so I will delete this now, and we're gonna export now, right? Let's do that. So export default. Okay, export default, right? Default, and we call the mongoose dot model, right? We are creating a model now, and the name of the model, or basically the name of our collection, will be created from here, right? So that is a blog, and the schema name, so blog schema. So this will create the the collection called blogs. In our database it will create the collections called blog, right? Like this. It will just create this, everything is small letter with S on the back, right? That is what you're gonna get in your database, blogs. Okay, so in that blogs, right, every time when you add the new blog, the new object, the object I show you earlier, right, that will be added to this table, or we can call collection, right? Collection. Okay, so I think that's it, right? That's it. Save this. So let's add the relation also, right, in our user also, right? And then so that it will be easy to, when we add a blog or create a controller for the blog, right? And when you're adding the blog, we have the place already to store the blog. Okay, the blog ID right here also, because same user, let's say user A can create many blogs, right? So every blog has what ID. So now this user A need to hold all that ID of the blog. Okay, so let's do that one. So because we name it here user, right? Who is the user of this blog? Here we can call the blogs, maybe, right? Like that. Okay, we'll just give the name. Okay, blocks. So now, right, before, because we have this okay, let's go here. We added just in the object, right? We added in the object, because remember every block gonna have one user, whoever, right? One user, you just need to store one ID. But in case in here, right, the same user can have many blocks. So how we can solve that problem? Remember, array can hold many ID, right? It can hold many ID. So it will have maybe the blog number 1, the same person can have a blog number 2, like that, right? Same person can have blog number 3. Okay, so you can create many blocks, and whatever blocks you have created, right, their information or that blog ID will be stored here. So how we can create that, right? Let's do that. So we, because it will be in the form of object, right, we have to add in the form of object. Okay, so we can have type. The first was type, right? Same thing, the mongoose again, mongoose dot type types, right, and dot object ID. Okay, we got that first. Then we're going to add reference, ref, right here. That will be, so we are referring to blog, right? So we have to call the blog model. Okay, that blog model, right? Blog. And required will be required, right? Will be true. Required will be true. So even in the website, right, you can check how to establish a relation between two different collection, right? You can try and check that, but this is a simple relation we establish, right? The user can have many blocks. So now every block, right, every blocks user can create. Any user, let's say I'm the user right now, right? I register to the website, I'm creating maybe blog now, first blog, second blog, third blog. So because I'm the user, right? So in my, see, in the database I have a user account, correct? My email, name, password, right? All that. So there will be the, now the field or property called blocks. In that blocks I'm storing the each ID, right, of the of the blocks I'm creating. Okay, so it will be stored here. Now you're gonna see when we use the postman and how things happen, right? We're gonna experiment with the postman. So save this. Yeah, so I think that is all is okay, right? Yeah, that looks like fine. So we export from here also, blog schema, right? Okay, so let's start writing the controller and the route now, right? So route, so let's create one controller first and then we move to the route. So first we're gonna, so now, right, I think we have to make some change in the user controller also. User controller, okay, let's write blog first and see where we have to make a change, right? So the first controller will be, first we're gonna import, right? Import mongoose. Okay, we can import mongoose from mongoose. Right now I think we don't need mongoose, right? We just need the blog, import blog, right? Blog from blog. So when you, let's say when you are adding user, right, when you are adding, sorry, when you are adding the blog, the one of the user is adding the blog, right? So that means you will be calling the API from the blog here. Whatever the controller we write, right, you will be calling that API. So in that case, now because there is a relation with the user model also, okay, so we're gonna need that also, right? So let's call that as well for now. So we'll see where we're gonna use this, right? User. Okay, so that's good enough. So let's write export. We're gonna export each function, right? So that will be const. So first will be like get all blog, right? That's what we write always, right? Get all blogs, I believe. Blog, maybe, yeah, that's fine. Blog, right? And this will be asynchronous because we're gonna deal with the API, or basically we're gonna deal with the, what we call that, the database, right? So let's make it async. Okay, and now we're gonna have request and response, req and response. So when you request something, right, get all blocks, so in here I think we're just getting all the blocks, right, just displaying all the blocks. So we'll be not no many, I mean we don't have to do many things, right? We just create one variable called blocks, blog, right? Maybe blocks, something like that, yeah. And then we write try catch again, catch, right? So there will be error and you just return it, right? Or console log, console.log error. Okay, now in the part of try, so what we do, right, we call the blog, our blocks variable, right, and async await, now await, and then we're gonna say request, not request, where is our blog model, right? Blog dot find, right? That's it. So it will basically, a blog means from the blog collection, right? This model will go and map all the data, means find it, it just return the whole collection, like a blog collection, right? It will just return everything, the whole array, and it will just stored in this variable. Okay, so that's the all. And what else we can do? So we can test now. We just write some validation. So if there is no blocks, right, then just return some return, right, return response dot status, status, right, and status will be maybe 400 404 and the message, we can send message also, right? So that will be in the form of JSON. JSON is basically object, right? And you pass the property called message. When you just creating, we're just creating the object, nothing, this is not a something coming from anywhere, just sending one message, right? You are the one who writing this message. So we can call it blog not found, right? Something like that, blog not found. Done. Okay, let's say if there is a blog, right, you want to return that, correct? Because this function what function does, right? Function basically do the job or find, in this case we find all the blocks, and now you can return that. So because we are here, right, so we have this two request and response, so this is the one which is going to send us the response, right? So return response, and in the response what we do, you add the status also, right? Like 200, that is okay, the job is done, right? We got the blog, and in the JSON format you can maybe send that, right? So let's send this blog here, blogs like that. Okay, good enough. Return. Okay, so I think here we need to close now, right? I think we have to close this. Yes. All right, so this is done, right? We exporting get all blog also. Let's go to the route. Let's add the blog route now, right? So here you're gonna import, right? And this is just a name export. Okay, just export, right? This is not default, just name. So you can, there will be many exports, so you just put everything in the in here, right? So get all blog, right, like that, and it just imported everything from the controller, blog controller, right? Good to go. So now, so we got this, right? So in the route, what we need express. Remember, we have to create we have to get route also, right? So let's get that one. Const not const, let's import. Okay, express from express, right? Okay, and now we're gonna create the one variable called, so let's call it blog router, right? Router, blog router equal to right? So that is express dot router. Now this variable, right, this variable has the whole functionality, like get, post, put, delete, you can do all that now here. So the first one will be getting, right, getting the whole block, so that will be get route. So we can just simply write the base, like whatever the URL you have, right, and call that get all function, our callback function. This is callback function, I mean, what we used to do, right, if you have just only one, you can write the whole function here, that is whole controller here, right? You can do that. That's the exactly function what we wrote in the controller here. Okay, so we can put get all blog. Now we got the blog, right? So okay, so let's export this, because everything is related to this one. Now this variable is holding all the objects, right? So we just have to export that. So export default, right? And the export will be blog router. Okay, so now we have to go to our app.js and import that. So import blog router from route, blog routes, right? Okay, and just below, right, just below our user route, we just add that one. So I can just copy this, and I can say app.use API slash, this time will be blog. Okay, let's put a blog here, so we know the difference, right? When you have API for user and API for blog, and here the name of the our blog route, right? Blog router. So all the time now you can have localhost 5000 API slash blog. This will be the root, right? Like this will be now like a base route for all the routing, and whatever you add, sometimes you're gonna add ID, right? Maybe you're gonna add ID, sometimes maybe you're gonna add like a update slash ID, right? Sometimes maybe you want to delete slash ID. Okay, so the extra one, whatever the extra right here, we'll add in our route part. Okay, so that is the root, and the rest we just add here, like if you the delete or update, maybe add, if you want to add like for posting, right? So you can add here all that extra parameter, we call parameter, right? Okay, so let's test now, right? Let's see, let's go to the postman, and so we did this for the, I think, user. Let's send the request. So you're getting all that user, right? There is a user. See, all this user does not have the field for the blocks, right now you don't have. Okay, what we created is study. Oh, it added already, right? Okay, we get that already. Okay, oh my god. Okay, so it just update the blocks, right? So there is a field now, see that? Okay, but there is we don't have any blocks, right? So next time when we create a blocks, we're gonna use one of this ID while creating the block, right? We will do that. Okay, okay, let's now check, right? Let's check the get for the 5000, not user but API slash blog, right? Blog API slash blog, right? That is the get all blog. Okay, so see, this collection is created in the database blog, and it returns the empty array here. So later you're gonna see the object when you create a blog, right? The object will be added inside here. Okay, I cannot write here, but the object with the blog will be added in here. This is like the big storage for us, right? For every blog, so anyone will create a blog, right? It will just go here now. Okay, all right, so that work. So that is get blog. So let's what will be the next now, right? Next, let's create the next controller. So what controller we can create? Blog route blocks controller. So yeah, so we learn how to get all the blogs. So let's create maybe adding blog, right? Adding blog, let's do that one. So export, we can say const add blog, right? Blog const add blog equal to request response, and so yeah, so this will be async, right? Async. So first, what I'm gonna get, right? What I'm gonna get when I'm creating a blog, I need to send all my information. So let's look at the controller here. Where is that? Close this, I don't need. So in the user, I don't need. So in the blog, right? So you have title, description, image, and the user, right? User gonna we have to send the ID for the user. Okay, so that object ID, right, will be stored here. So this, okay, all right. So from the body, so let's imagine you have the HTML form, right? Form where you type the title of the blog, you type some description, and you add the image link, and after you select the ID also, right? You select the ID also. So in the maybe how we gonna, I mean, you can populate the ID, right? later on when you are creating, or maybe just, I think we're gonna populate ID when you're creating the blog, right? In the UI, okay, in the front end, means you have to get the ID. So when you are logged in, right, of course we can get your information. Whoever is logged in, their information will be there from the user account, right? So now if your user account, like get user information, get user, right? And there will be ID, so that ID we can add to the form. When you click like add, basically add new post, so that ID, your ID will be automatically there in the field. Okay, so we can do that part in the UI, right? But here we have to manually add, right, in the postman, because I mean we adding the whole data in the body, right, manually, everything that need to go in the database. But first let's add the controller and then we're gonna look at. So const, so we can have title, right? title, title, description, we're gonna have image, and I think we're gonna have, just call it user, right? User maybe. So whatever we send here, so, because our field here we have to also these names, right? This name is holding some data, but these names is equal to the same as, it must be same as this one. Okay, description. So that's how it knows, right, where to put the information. Description, title, and all, because that is this structure already. So will be equal to a request from the request from the body, right? Requested body. Okay, so now we got all this information. What is the next step, right? So see, we right, we because you want to add the blog, right? You want to add the blog. So what will be the scenario, right? We have to know that you are already the user. Okay, so let's check for that one, right? uh, so we must check the user is there in the system, right? So for that one, I, so what we can do, right? Const, yeah, so let's do the const existing user, right? Like that. Not const, we have to do the let. Okay, because we're going to change the data here. Let, fine. So now we're going to write a try catch block, right? Try catch. So console.log error, and here so we have to get the user. Okay, so how we do that, right? So existing user equal to, right, so we already have the user, see that user model, right? And this will give us the user. So let's do that. Existing user equal to user dot find by maybe one, or maybe ID, right? Find by ID. Okay, so we have to put await, right? Await, that is async await. Okay, the rest here, yeah, that's fine. Find by ID, and you pass the user ID, right? So basically we just pass that ID. Okay, here, so we don't see the ID means what, this user is holding the ID, so just pass that user here, user. Okay, done, right? So now we gonna test. So if right, if there is no existing user, then just return back, right? So just return response dot status 404, and then JSON, right? JSON message. So JSON message we can write to the user not found, right? User not found, simple enough. Okay, let's say if there is user, then what we're gonna do, right? So we have to so we have to create a blog now, right? So let's say if there is no user, then we return we done, right? We done. But in case of there is already user, then we move to the next step. So the next step is creating a blog. Now means we have to create the object for our blog, right? We got the data, this is just the information, right? What information will go to the database, but to send something to the database we must create that. So let's say cons, right? Maybe let's call it blog equal to we have to call the new blog the blog schema, right? And then we pass the title comma description, right? Description comma image comma user, right? Like that. Yeah, I think that is enough, good enough. Okay, user. So we pass all this data, right? These are the data, and with that one we created the object. Remember the object I saw you earlier, you know, this object, right? With title, description, image and user. So that is what you created. It will be title colon the title data, description data, image data and user data, basically all that information, right? Okay, so once we got the blog, what else we can do now, right? So we gonna, we have to save, right? Save to the database. So how we save that? Again we do the same thing, right? No, so before we save this one, remember we are creating the blog, right? We are creating the blog. Okay, so we gonna save this, right, to our database. Fine, that is okay, but at the same time also we need to save this blog ID to the user, right? So let's go here. So when I send the request now, right, remember there is this field called blogs. Look at that blog, right? Blogs. So if this user is creating the blog, then the ID of that blog must go here inside this inside here, right? So because we are creating the blog, so in the same time before we save the blog we also save the ID here of the blog, right? So how we gonna do that part? So that is the question, right? So let's check now. Okay, so we're gonna write try. I mean we are dealing with the database, so let's put the try cats, right? Console.log, and that will be error. Okay, and here what we do, right? Now we have to get something called session, okay, from the mongoose, right? So we have to establish the session, and we're going to use that session, right, when to make sure the current user is creating the blog. And when you're creating a blog with the same session, right, you're going to create a blog, and with the same session you're going to also add the ID to the user, right? So see how it work. Okay, let me think. So let's create a session first. Okay, session, right? I mean this is just a variable, but you can call it session, and we have to get it from the mongoose, right? So mongoose, wait, mongoose, right, dot I think it's something, what was that, start, maybe start session, right? Mongoose start. Oh, it's not coming. Start session. I hope that is okay. So let's check, let's quickly check, right? Start session, right? Let's search it. So transaction APIs start session, I don't know which one. Okay, let's, man, this things is complex when you don't use, right? So mongoose, yeah, so this is just calling mongoose to start session is equivalent to calling mongoose connection start session, right? Okay, so we just do the mongoose start session. Okay, this is the one. So means you are starting, just starting, right? Starting, let's say you establish the connection. Okay, then right, once we have that connection started, right, so we're gonna say we have to start the transaction also, right? So we how we gonna do that? Session, right? And this gonna have a transaction. So start start, right? Start transaction, TRANSAC, right? TION, transaction. Okay, so the transaction start. Now here, right, we have to save the blog now. Okay, so look at the session started here. Okay, we just create the connection, right, for the session. We just establish the connection, start transaction. So every time when you are having relationship and you want to add something to the two different model like user and the blog, right, same time, then you must follow this, start the session, start the transaction, and then you save, right? So you're gonna say basically say await, right? Await. So await, and we're gonna call the blog, right? This blog. So blog dot save. Okay, save, right? And when you save, when you do the save, you must pass this session here as an object session. Okay, yeah, so that is done, right? Now also, right, so now what? So we save the, this will save the blog. Okay, this will save the blog in the database, right? That is okay, but the thing is, you remember we have to send the id of this blog, the id of the, 1 second, just give me, sorry guys, just give me a second. Okay, ल भन ल के अहिले, अब अहिले म बिजी छु क्या, कहाँ छ अहिले? हुन्छ हुन्छ, जस्ट sorry guys, I have emergency call, right? But anyway, okay, let's continue, right? So where I was, I just in the middle of the work when I get distracted. So await. Okay, so we save the blog, right? Now it's time to save the id of the blog. Okay, so how are we gonna do that? Blog, right? Blog. So remember we have this is existing user here, this user. Okay, so we have the user, right, already. So this user has whole data, so let's call that one here, right? So we can say, again we can write await, right? Await existing user, right? Existing user dot, this user has property called blogs. Okay, property, I can show you here, look at here, right? That, let's say this is the user, right? This user has property called blogs. So this existing users dot blogs, so we get this array, right? And then we're gonna just push it here. So let's do that. Blogs dot push, and what we're gonna push? The user. Okay, not user, the, not user, right? The id. So it will return something here, right? I think blog. So from that blog it will grab the id, right? I believe we just push the blog, maybe, so existing user dot blogs dot push, right? Because we're just grabbing the id from the blog, so the, I think the model will take care of the rest, right? We just push this blog now. Okay, let's push that blog, right? Okay, yeah, let's see. I don't know what can happen. We're gonna check. I hope that will be fine, right? No effect on the type of expression. Existing user dot blogs dot push, is saying no effect. Wait, right? Okay, so just remove that one for now. So we just keep it like this, existing user dot blocks dot push, right? Blog. Now we can use await, right? Await, because now we have to save this existing user back to the database. Okay, so to do that we have await, and we're gonna call it existing user dot save, save, right? Save. And again you have to pass that session, because this is in the same session all this thing happening, right? All right, and finally we're gonna, I think, commit uh, the session, right? So await again. So we have to basically close the session now. We're done, right? So session dot commit, uh, commit, I think, transaction, right? Commit transaction. Let's see. So will be session I think commit transaction, something like that. No result. Oh, let me go. Maybe the spelling mistake. I want to, because this spelling will create a, yeah. So this will be something like this, right? So here, save the change made by the operation, right, in the multi-document transaction. See that, multi-document transaction, and ends the transaction. So that is what is starting the session, right? I mean, because we are dealing with two different documents, the user and the blog, right? So you have to start the session and use the same session, to save the data to the blog, and then save data to the user, and finally you just close it, right? So we're gonna close now. So let's close this. So just here, right? But in our case our session is a small letter right here, so we just make it a small letter. Okay, yeah, so I believe that almost done, right? So now we have to return now, right, the blog. Okay, let's return that. So here, let's say all these things done, catch is done, right? So we just go here and then return. What we're gonna do, we return response, right, and status. So if everything is success, right, you should get this one. Okay, 200 and the message JSON, right? Let's return the blog. Okay, so just call the blog here. All right, so let's test. This will be funny, right? So let's test add blog. So export. So we're gonna go to our route, and here just call it add blog, and we're gonna have the next route. So this is the post, right? Post. Okay, post. So we can leave it like this. I mean, unless you want to add, right, add or something. So it will be localhost 5000 / API / blog / add, right, will be post. So yeah, okay, let's test this now. Test, right? So I want, because we have the user already. Okay, so let's try. So I'm gonna take this third number, right? Third one, the last one. Okay, so I will copy that, the ID, right, because we're gonna need the ID, and go here, and we're gonna create the post, right? Post. I'm gonna call the API blog, right? API blog / add, right? That is our route, correct? Yeah, so that will do the post job, but we have to send the data. So this body is like HTML form, is sending the information, right? So in the JSON format. So title will be Safari, right, like that. Then description, Description, we can add it some text, text description for the blog. Okay, for the blog. Okay, fine. Now image, right now we don't have, so what I will do, right, I'm just gonna put some string here for now. Okay, image. So I will just add here maybe image, right, image link, something like that, link 1. Okay, image. And now so I need to put that user, right, also, right? So we have a field called user, correct, user, and user is equal to this ID, correct. So image user, fine. So now let's send the request, right? Let's send the request and see what happened. Okay, send. It just returned the empty blog, right? It just returned the empty blog. What I'm doing, the post, right, API blog add. So post. Okay, so now let's check in the get here, right, see if that work or not. Oh, we don't have. Do we have? No, right? Oh, no. Let's, I mean, even here we don't have the ID, right, for that user. So let's try to get the get now, send request. It did not add. Okay, it did not add, right? So what might be the error? What might be the issue? I don't see anything. App is listening to local. Okay, so server is running, everything looks fine. Add, right, add. Okay, let's remove this one, no need to put that. So oh my god, because look at this, right, get all, that's why I get the empty blog, I must add that add blog, add blog, right. Okay, so we just leave it here, right, the get and post, just leave it empty. So we can remove that, just blog, right, like that. And now if we send post localhost 5000 API/blog and send the request again, try again, voila, we got it. Okay, so the blog, it returned, right, title, description, image, and user, right, look at the user is added and the blog ID is here. So this blog ID must be in this user blogs section, right. So let's check now. So I'm going to request again from the database the updated data, right, let's request, and did not add. Where is that? I don't see. Okay, it's not here, so it did not work, right, something went wrong here. Okay, let's see what is the error. Add blog, okay, and blog controller rejection, the process ticks and rejection, right. So there is some kind of rejection. Oh, why? Mongoose is not defined. Okay, so something, yeah, so now I see, right, look like we don't have the mongoose there in our controller here. So block controller we don't have. Okay, so see, the mongoose is not here, right, and we are using the mongoose in our code. That's why I was surprised why we're not getting that suggestion, because we don't have the mongoose here. So let's import that, right. So let's import that, import mongoose from mongoose, right. Okay, so I have to try again, so let's add again, right, and this time jungle safari again, right, and what I'm doing, okay, So user ID is same person, so same person can create many blocks. Okay, so this is the block 2, right? Okay, 3. And image link, you can leave it, there's just a string, so you know. Now let's send, right? Send the request. Okay, so now hopefully it will work. So let's refresh the data, and we got it, right? Look at that. So this person, this user ID created one block. Look at that. So if we go back again, right, and create the new block again, so jungle safari last year, right? Last year, a new block. Okay, and the same person, same user is creating the block. Okay, and this will be link 4, and this can be some new data, right? New data. Okay, send again. Okay, so it's created. Let's go back and check, right? Send the request, and see the second block is created by this person. So whoever log now, you can add many blocks, right? And their ID will be added here. So see the now relation, right? What we have done, and based on this information, if this person want to see all his blog, right, or her blog, now in the UI in our React, okay, there will be a the navigation bar, right? You click on the button, and you can fetch the whole thing based on this information, all the blog, right? Because you have the record of all the blog here. Okay, so that was the I think, yeah, that was the little bit too much, right? But it's okay. Hope everyone understand that part. Anyone? I mean, just understand the relation, the concept, right? You don't have to memorize right now, but just understand what I'm doing, right? Get the feel of that one. Okay, so if anyone has any doubt or any confusion, let me know, right? I will repeat again. If not, I will continue, right? So let's so we're gonna add the next now, right? Update. Okay, so we're gonna update the blog now. So done. Okay, let's add the const, basically export, right? Export const, maybe update blog, right? Update blog equal to async. So what we're gonna do here, async, so same thing, request response, right? So you know, we're just gonna update maybe 2 field only, okay, like the title and description, right? So let's keep it simple. Update. The point here is to understand how we are doing the work, right? And request dot body, right? So from the body we are getting the title and description. So we got that one, right? But in case of update, remember how we're gonna update, right? Export default update block. So let's write the route first. Okay, so update blog, right? So the route will be something like this, not post but put, right? It will be put, that is update. And here, right, we're gonna have, let's put clear, right? Update slash colon ID. Okay, so that's how you update, because there will be delete colon ID, update colon ID, you know, right? So sometimes you have delete, sometimes you have ID, with this ID, right? You are gonna delete, sometimes you're gonna update. So now here will be update update blog, that one, right? Okay, so that is the route now, right? So localhost 5000 slash API slash blogs blog slash update slash ID. So that is the route to handle the update. Okay, so let's write the update now. So we got title and description, and also we're gonna get the ID, right? So let's put the ID on the top. So const So we can call it blog id, right? Whatever blog id we equal to request dot params, because when you update on the route there will be id already, basically on the route, right? There will be id, so from that one you can grab that id. This id refer to the our route here, whatever you put here, right? If I put here abc, then you have to fetch it with the name, this name, abc name. So better just keep it id for now. Okay, so we got the id also, blog id. So now what we're gonna do, so let's create the variable called blog, simple blog, and we're gonna add try catch because we're gonna deal with our database now. Catch, and there will be error console.log, right? Error. So in the try, what we will do, right? So the blog equal to await, and we call our blog model, right? And from there find by id and update function. That is what I need, right? Update. Okay, so I'm just gonna pass the id, right? So first one is blog id, comma, and then I have to send the data also. So that data will be title and description, right? Description. I'm just sending that. Okay, so yeah, so that is done. So what else we're gonna do? Yeah, so that is done, right? So I just maybe write the validation, right? Some validation here. So here, if the blog is not created somehow, right? Let's say if the blog is not created, then we're just gonna return the error, right? So let's do that. Return response dot status, right? So that will be 500, 400, whatever we can add, something like went something wrong, right? And then JSON message. So message will be what message we can do? Basically we can just put it maybe unable to update, right? Unable to update, right? Update. Okay. So now once you update, right? Maybe, but let's say if things happen, okay, everything happened when, right? Oh, good. I mean, there is a blog created also. I mean, the blog is created, right? What is this? Could not find a blog id. There's something wrong. blog. Yeah. So in that case, if the blog is updated, in that case what we can do is we just return the response, right? So return response dot status, and that will be 200, and then you just send the JSON that blog, right? That blog which we just update. Okay, save, and I think that is done. So we have the route already added, right? So let's try now. So what I'm gonna do, I will take one of the blog and update. So let's do that. So we have the blog, right? So which blog we're gonna update? Let's update this blog. Okay, this blog, right? So I just copy that id, but here I'm gonna go to the new tab and find the put method, and also I'm gonna get to the body, raw, and JSON file. I have to send the title and description. So there will be title, right? So the title we can add, this is updated title for this blog. Okay, and title and description, right? Description we can add something, updated description for the new blog of our visit. Okay, that is two things we are updating, so we just keep that one. Now we just have to call our API route, right? So blog, remember we have API slash blog, that is the main, right, the root. But after we have update, right, and then after we have ID. So let's put this ID. Okay, and so see that blog update. Okay, that should be fine, good enough, right? So let's run this, and unable to update. Whoa, what happened? So everything looks fine. So let's see if there is some error, right? App listening. Okay, so everything looks okay, but why it did not update? Okay, let's go back and check. So we have put method, we sending the object, we getting the message unable to update, so that is working already, right? But it did not update. So what might be the error, right? Even we don't get any update blog. Fine, update blog. So update colon I slash ID, right? So update, so that should be okay. So we have update API slash blog update, right? Blog route dot put, and everything looks fine. So let's go back, right? Here, let's get all our blog, okay, and see what happens. So we have two blog here, right? We got two blog. Yeah, we got this two blog. And so what is happening, right? So maybe the blog what we are working on is not here, right? Did not add it. Okay, let's do one thing. We're gonna add the new blog again and try, right? Because this one look like the name is different, right? Yeah, that's ID is different. So when we create a blog, where it go, right? Where it go? So we have this blog, right? Also, so the blog is so we got the user. See, we did not get the blog, right? Blogs, we just have this old one. So let's add one blog and see what happened, right? I'll just change here. So let's call it blog 1 and blog 1 one description and the image, right? And the user who is creating, we're gonna change the user. So I don't know if something is to do with the user, because they all have the blog already. So let's call this user, the first one. So basically we don't see the we're not seeing that blog. So user, let's add the user also here, user, right? Okay, send the request. So user ID is this, blog ID is this, right? So blog ID is this. So if I need to update this, let's say if I need to update this blog, right? Let's imagine I need to update this blog, so I will put here but that is the, yeah, that is the one, right? Okay, so I just put the blog ID, then your blog update, correct? Yeah, so we just keep it this title and description same like this and send. So that means unable to update, right? Unable to update. Even we're not getting any error, you know. So let's see what happened, right? Let's check our code one time, the controller. Okay, it looks okay here. So that looks okay, right? What should I do now? Blog ID. Okay, let's look at the controller. Maybe there is something not correct. So blog, we getting the params, fine. You adding the ID, right? Getting that ID, so that will be blog ID, right? Oh, okay, so that, oh my god, okay, maybe that ID is not matching the name, right? Maybe. Okay, so what we can do here, we just let's add the object, right? And we call it the ID like this, colon, that blog ID, right? Blog ID. So that's how the our ID of the blog looks, right? If we look at the any blog here, so this is the ID of the blog, correct? So maybe we need to match. The one thing I don't understand is why we did not, oh okay, we get the blog, new blog here, right? Okay, we got the blog one just now we created. Okay, we're getting here. There is jungle safari. Okay, this all are here, you know. Fine. Yeah, this is the one that, you know, we're getting. Okay, good. So the only thing I see the mistake maybe might be, right, this one. Okay, so let's try again. Let's try now, right? So we're gonna go update. So we have the same ID right here. We're sending this information, so let's send now again for update. Again the message saying unable to update. Whoa. So what should we do now? I mean, it should work, you know. I don't know why. So find by ID and update, right? That is the one. Find by ID and update. So you just pass the ID, comma. So that's the blog ID, right? Request.id. Oh my god. Params, not request, params, you getting from the parameter, right? params.id. Okay, so let's try without adding this and see if this will work. Even this IDs will work, right? Let's see. Save. Params.io is something we have to get from the URL, right? From the internet browser URL. We have to write the params in the parameter, right? Params.id. Okay, so now try again. Send request. So we get some error now, right? Something happened, but what happened we have to check now. So let's look at here. see id is undefined, right? Basically that is the thing. So we have to add in this format. Okay, so now it was correct earlier. So underscore id colon, we just add that id here, and now again give a try. So send request again, no work. Why? It returns, it returns object. God, I forgot. Okay, so let's destructure it. Params.id, right? Now request.params.id, request.params.id. Now try. It still did not work. So what is the error now? Send request. Okay, finally work, right? Finally work. So now we're getting the update, right? Blog one, because it will give you the old information. Okay, but if we go back now, right, and just fetch the data. So what we update was which one was that? The last one, or let me check. The ID with C0, right? So let's see the C0 here. You see that blog one description and all that, right? And we added the new information with the long, this is the updated title and all that, right? So let's call it again, send request, and our blog is updated. Okay, so it worked, right? It worked. Okay, the mistake was all about request.params.id. So sometimes you just forget, and then there will be problem. Okay, so we got id. I mean, you can add like this, is okay, everything working. So what else we can do now, right? What is the next next maybe route, what we can write now? So we got the update, right? We finished the update. So maybe you want to get one single blog, right? Maybe let's say single blog, correct? So let's get the blog by id, get by id, right? So let's get a single blog by id. Okay, whichever blog we can get. So I think const, okay, let's write that const what will be the variable name, what we can give the name, const, maybe call it get by id, like that, equal to, so will be request response, right? So this will be async again, async. Okay, and here will be export, right? Export. So this will be quick, I believe, hopefully. So first get by id, right? So we have to get the id first. Okay, so same thing, const, we call it blog id, equal to request dot params, right? Params dot id. Okay, and after we're gonna have a, we're getting a blog, right? Single blog, so let's call it blog like this, and try catch, right? Catch gonna have error. If there is any error, it will just console log, right? So it should be outside here. Try and catch. So in the catch, we're gonna just do console log for now, error. But in the try block, what we can do, right? So we are getting the blog by single id. So let's call it blog equal to await, right, await, and then we call our blog dot find one, right, or maybe find by id. Okay, find by id, and we just pass the id, right? So we just pass the id here. I call it blog id. I think that should work. If not, we're gonna do the, better, just put the, look for this id, right, equal to whatever id we have. Okay, better. Okay, so now we're gonna do some validations. So if there is no blog, right, blog, if there is no blog, then we just return what we're gonna return, right? Did we return here? Okay, so let's return response dot status 200, right, and then dot json again. Okay, we're just getting the json, right? So message, we call it blog not found, right, not found. Okay, so next we just return now, right? So return if there is a blog, we got the blog, so we just have to return it, right? Return. So how you return? Response dot status, and we can have 200. So here will be not found, that is 500 or 400, and here dot json, and you're gonna just return that blog. Okay, the blog you just found, right? So yeah, so done, right? So let's try this. So export. So let's go to the route now, and here, right? So this will be get. Okay, getting the single block, right? So what we can do is maybe just keep it like this. So slash, right, slash id. So will be like a localhost 5000 slash api slash blog slash, pass the id, right, and it will give you that blog. So that will be get by id, right, get by id. So get by id. Okay, so now we go to the here, right? Let's go here, and then so this is our blog, right? So we just have to pass the one of the id. So we write one new tab here, get or find, but okay, this one, right? So copy that, put it here, and also we need to get one id, right? So let's do that. So the id will be, so I want to get the updated just now, the one we update, right? So let's find this one, the last one. Okay, so here blog slash, we pass this id and send the request, and we got that blog, right? We found the single blog. Okay, this is the blog. So this route is working. Okay, so we're done with that, right? So let's see how many we can write more. So what else we can do, right? So in the blog, so we create blog, we get all the blocks, we update blocks, we find by single blocks. Okay, you want to find all the blocks, right, of the user by user id, that will be one, and then the final maybe delete blog also, right? You want to delete the blog. So what we can do, right? Let's export delete. Okay, export const, and we call it maybe delete, right? delete, delete blog. Okay, so this will be async, right, and request response. So delete again, same thing, you have to get the id, right? id like that. So let's put it here. When you're deleting, you're gonna get id, so you get that id. And what else we're gonna do? So when you delete the blog, right, the thing is, just pay attention here, right, what I'm saying now. See, you see any blog you delete, for example, let's say post, right, put here post or get blog. Okay, let's say you delete one of this blog, right, this blog. So who is the user now, right? So this is the one with 9D, right? User is 9D. So let's find the 9D, send request, and who is the 9D? The first one, right? First one. So when you delete the blog, we also have to remove from here this one, because if we don't delete from here, right, that means there will be conflict. You have an ID but you don't have the blog. So when you delete the blog, same time we just make sure we clean up here, right? So our route in the delete functionality, we're gonna have to mention this also. So let's try to get that done. So for that we have to let blog for now empty blog, and we're gonna add try catch, right? That will be error, and console.log error. Okay, error. Okay, so now we got this. So what should we do here now, right? We are deleting. So delete. So first we're gonna remove by ID, and then I think there is something called what will be, right, in the delete case. I believe we have to get the other user data also. Okay, fine. So let's try now. So in this blog we're going to store first, right? So let's do that. So blog equal to await, call the blog model, right, dot, and then delete. Is that find by ID and delete, right? First find and then delete, or maybe remove, right? Let's keep remove. So here, so we have to pass the ID first, right? So you have to pass the ID. Okay, ID. So now same time what we have to do, right, in this blog you also have to fetch the data from the user. Okay, user information you have to get, right, for this ID, because see this blog is created by one of the user, correct? So we have to relate who is the user now, right? Who is the user? So how are we going to get user? You just populate now, populate, right? Populate, and you pass that user here, user, and it will take care, right? It will just get that user. So we have the user also available. So we're gonna maybe, yeah, once we have this user ready, right? So let's go back here, and we're gonna say await now, await, right? So how we got the user inside this blog. Okay, we remove that blog also. We remove the blog, find and remove ID, but we also got this user now here inside here, right? So how are we going to take care of this one now? So let's see, we're going to add blog here, right? Blog dot user, right? Because this blog has no property called user. Okay, and this user uh, now, right, remember this user means you're getting the whole object, right? You're getting something like this. You're getting, let's say you're getting this whole object. Okay, this one, this whole thing, right? So users blog dot user, right? You're getting this, and inside you have this property called blocks. So that is what we're gonna get, right? So we're gonna have blocks. Okay, blocks. Then from there pull, right? We're gonna have pull, and what we're gonna pull now, we're just gonna pull that blog. Okay, just call this blog, right? And it will be taken care, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so once we do that, now we have to save this. Okay, if you don't save, then it will not work, right? So you have to make sure await dot blog, right? Blog uh, dot user, right? So blog dot user dot save. You have to save the remaining data also, because this blog has the user and you remove something from the user, right? But you want to make sure that the user is saved back. So that will save now the user also. What else we can do now, right? I think, yeah, that we got the error here. So we maybe write some validation here. So let's say if there is no blog, if you cannot find the blog, right, means you cannot find something when you do the removing. If there is no id with that, if there is no blog with that id, that means you're not going to get anything here. So we just response that status, and the status will be 500, and then just return the JSON message, right? Message, and the message will be uh, blog not found, right? Blog not found. Okay, so yeah, so now, okay, so now, right, we can, I think, but let's say if the blog found and is deleted and also remove the id from the users, all is done, right? So in that case we just response, so we just return. Okay, we have to return it, God, we have to return, because you have to terminate if something happened, right? Return response dot status status, right? Status, and the status will be 200 because it's success this time, right? So we're gonna send the success message, and the message will be what message, right? We can call it the blog is deleted, right? Successfully deleted successfully. Okay, all right, so that is done. So I think, yeah, so that should be enough, right? Good enough. Let's save this and try now, right? So we're gonna delete. So just imagine we let's send the request, right? So let's say this blog, this user has one blog. Okay, one blog, right? So let's find that C0 blog here. So if you get all the blog, right? No, not post, but get all the blog, send request and C0 blog. So that is the blog, right? I want to delete this one. Okay, delete that. Oh, I did not update my, I created the delete, right, blog. So export also. So let's update in the route, so will be, so here I'm just gonna add delete, right? delete, delete slash, just separate the route, which one is doing what, right? We can, so update delete, and here will be delete, right? Delete blog, and it will be also imported here as well. So yeah, that is good enough. So let's try now. So this id blog I'm going to delete, right? So I will add the new tab, and localhost API blog 5000 blog, right? And then I have delete. Okay, delete, delete, and slash, and the id, right? Id put here, and let's send the request. Okay, send request. Okay, blog not found. So that means blog not found. Again, what? Delete. Oh, okay, that is not found, right? My god, that is the delete method, and yeah, delete method, right? So we have to switch this to the delete also. Okay, now try. Still problem, right? So blog not found. Okay, so let's refresh here one time. Let's get send request, get all the blog. So the blog is still there. this C0, right? So delete localhost 5000 API blog / delete delete / the ID, right? C4 and C0, that is the one. C4 64 and C0, right? Okay, and send request for delete. Okay, it's not working. Let's check if there is. Okay, so there is some ID is not defined, right? ID is not defined. ID here colon ID is not defined, so there is something wrong with the controller now. Blog ID, no, I need to pass that blog ID. So here blog ID basically will be, you know, underscore ID, right? Colon, and we give this blog ID. Blog ID. Okay, now try, right? So we're gonna send the request again. I look like everything okay. So blog is deleted successfully. Fine. So let's go back to our user now, right? Get all user. So this should be right. This should be gone from the this one. Okay. So let's send the request. Yeah. So you now see there is no more blog right inside this array. So we clean this up also. Okay. Okay, so I think we have one more route left. Let's finish this, right, and then we're gonna stop. That's long time. Okay, so we're gonna get the user all blocks, right? So export const, right, and maybe we call it what name we can get. Const const const. Man, what name we can give? Get blog by user. Get blog, not too much long, right? Let's say get by user ID, right, like that. Get by user ID. So now using the user ID we're gonna get that particular user all the blocks. Okay, so export const, and that is one. Okay, so now we have request response and async, right? Async here. Okay, so so first what we need to do now, right? So we have to get, because you're gonna send the user ID, right? When you request there will be user ID, so let's get the, you know, ID, right? So const user ID equal to request.params.id. Okay, we got that. The next will be we have to find the user also, because, you know, if you don't have user, how you know, right? From that user, how you gonna get all that IDs and then take care the blocks and everything, because users has that blocks. Okay, user have these blocks, right? These blocks, and from there we have to get all these things. So let's work on this, right? So let existing user, right, like that, and we're gonna have try catch block, try catch, right? So catch gonna have error. So here error, so just console log this error. Okay, and so we have to get the user, right? So existing user equal to await, and from the user route, okay, user model, right, dot, so find by, basically I think we're going to use find by ID, right? So user, we are getting from user, so await user, so let's put find by ID, right? Okay, and then here we're just gonna pass ID. Okay, so that will be underscore ID colon user ID, right, this one. So this will, I mean, with this ID, right, of course we're gonna get the user, we're gonna get the whole user, right? But there is a relation now. See, we're gonna get this whole object, okay, like this, and this has all the ID right here, okay, and we want to get related to the blog, right? So there is again populate, okay, there is a populate, right? So let's put that populate, right? And we just have to pass, I think we have to just pass the that property name, right, whatever that is, blogs, okay. Yeah, I believe that should do the job. Okay, so we uh, uh, so I think, so we that should do, that will give us the whole blog, right, for that user. So why not we call this user blog, this name is not good. User user blog, right? Let's change that name. User blog, okay. And USER, right? Why they are not highlighted? USER blog. Can I just change both place now? But it's still not highlighted. Why not? Copy this and put it here, right? Okay, now it's fine. So we got this user blog, right? User blog will be saved here, and I think so. If there we can return console log error, that is, just leave it up to there, right? I don't want to return anything. So now what we can do, we're gonna check, right, if there is no blocks, then what we're gonna do. So if there is no user blog, right, blocks, then just return some message to response. First return response dot status, maybe 404 not found. That will be now the JSON, and message will be, we call it a blog not found, right? Blog not found for this user ID, okay. And else we gonna maybe just return, right? So we're just gonna return that whole user blog now, everything, okay. So just do that. So return response dot JSON, not JSON but status first. Status will be 200, and dot JSON, and here we just return this, just return that user blog, USER user blogs, right? Okay, fine. So this is export already, get by user ID, right? And we just have to go here and let's create this route. So this time we getting, okay, we are getting, right? So we'll be get again, and so will be what we will be, so we can call it user, right? User colon ID, okay. And here will be get by user ID, that will be the controller. Yeah, so now done. So let's check this now. So we have the already, we have somewhere, right? So here this oh, this is the blog, right? That's the blogs. So this user, okay, this user has two blogs. Let's see if we can find that. Right, so let's go copy that, and we get the new get request now, and will be localhost API blog, right? Blog slash user, okay, user, right? And then you send this request ID, that's the user ID, and send request, and we got it, right? So we got this blogs like this. Look at that. This is the user, right? That's the user, this ID. So you have this property user blocks, and that is what for this user, and you getting this blog details, all that. So that's how it is populated, okay? So I think that's long video, right, guys? That's long time, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. You have to repeat, watch, right, and just slowly understand and make sure you write the code, right? Just understand how things work, okay? Make a connection, and hopefully it will be okay. So thank you very much. I will stop here now, and tomorrow we're going to start the front end now, right? Creating React project and all that. So we're done with the backend now. We finished, right? Any question you can ask me tomorrow. If anytime you can ask me, right? So that's fine. Let me stop the recording first.